Venom. Spider Wars!
Today, we will be ranking every single Venom adaptation. He's had some incredible adaptations as well as some lackluster adaptations. Not many Spider-Man characters have such a range of adaptations, you know? Seriously, if a game says Venom's gonna be in it, you have no idea what to expect because there's just so many versions of the character that gets taken. Whether those versions of the character are accurate to 616 doesn't really matter because the game devs, showrunners, and movie producers make this character into whatever they think the character should be for some reason. They don't really care about his original mythos. That's not what people have done so far with the character. They just do their own thing and it's kind of frustrating for the most part. Here in today's video, accuracy does matter though. Adaptations get points for showing Venom as a villain who only hates Spider-Man because that's what his main motive as a villain was. Points for showing him as an anti-hero. Points for showing him as a good guy. And I hate that I have to say this, but you will be getting points for showing Eddie Brock. Yes, the actual Venom. Let's just start from the bottom and head to the top, okay? Starting at the bottom, we have Spider-Man Unlimited. I've spoken about this in a decent length, but I guess I'll break it down super fast. This character is just nothing like Venom. He's so far removed from Venom in my eyes, it's ridiculous. He acts nothing like him. He's just supremely evil. The design is like kind of cool, I guess, and I don't mind the colors, but him and Carnage are brothers. I hate that. They're friendly. Everything about this Venom is just so wrong and backwards. He's got to be at the bottom of the list, okay? And the next I've already talked about, but a lot of people wanted to argue with me, so we're going to talk about that in a little bit more length. Insomniac Venom. This character I'm going to really get into the crux of because I've been hearing a lot of how he's great and godlike and this, that, and the third, and I must just dispel these rumors because I can't subscribe to them. I just can't. For starters, I will say the way he looks is great. It's cool as f***. But that doesn't mean he's Venom. The main issue people will say about Insomniac Venom is it's not Eddie Brock. Insomniac worshippers will then turn off their brains and just start repeating the same thing like they all have a hive mind connected to one person. There was no room for Eddie Brock in this story. Mind you, Insomniac wrote the story themselves. So like they could have just wrote it so there was room for him in there. But whatever. But I'm not going to focus on that because you've all heard it countless times. I'll offer you new reasons as to why Insomniac Venom is not a good adaptation and deserves to be at the bottom of this list. His motive isn't anything like 616. The OG Venom's motive is solely to kill Spider-Man. When he was a villain, he just wanted to kill Spider-Man. In his little sick, twisted world dimension, in his brain, Spider-Man was a villain, and he wanted to protect innocence, so killing Spider-Man would be protecting innocence. What did Game Venom want? He wanted to take over the world. Those are not at all the same. Like, not even close. Game Venom has no spider powers, or webbing, or anything. And yes, if you didn't know, Venom uses webbing. He wants to be like Spider-Man. The symbiote wanted to be like Spider-Man, so he uses webbing. The tendrils and stuff is cool, and I don't mind the tendrils, but not having any webbing at all, it's just like, are you serious? That's not like Venom at all then. Game Venom's dialogue is mostly that of a horror monster, which again is really cool and dope, but it isn't Venom, who is commonly jokes and goofy, and he's just a big lovable goon. I'm not saying you can't enjoy Insomniac Venom. He's pretty cool. He's pretty scary. He's pretty monstrous. All these three characteristics alone would make a cool character design, but I need you all to stop telling me that he's accurate. He's just nothing like the comics. If you don't like the comics, that's fine, and you like this version, again, that's cool. But stop telling me he's accurate, dog. He ain't. Moving on, Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. This was the first tough one on the list. Do I go with Harry Frostborn? Again. Or do I go with the Web of Shadows route with the fraudulent take over the world motive? Two massive frauds, but only one can be worse than the other, right? To me, it's Ultimate Spider-Man. This Venom sucks. Harry Osborn as Venom is not cool. He's lame. He's inaccurate. I understand why not doing the comics version because in the Ultimate Comics, Eddie's kind of a pedophile and this is a kid show. But you can always just do what the Ultimate Spider-Man game did and not include that part, you know? Like, you don't have to show that. Venom Web of Shadows. Literally a decade before Insomniac, Web of Shadows also had Venom in its game, which led into a massive symbiote invasion, which again is something Venom doesn't do. In fact, when a symbiote invasion is proposed in the comics, Venom tries his absolute damnedest to fight against it. He's not for the symbiote invasion, people. That's not his thing. Web of Shadows also hardly shows Venom in the game. He shows up in the beginning, he shows up for an alley fight, and he shows up at the end. The only redeeming thing about this Venom is, it's Eddie. and he chooses to be a hero at the last moment before he dies to save the city. But like, come on, this character is not Venom at all. Spider-Man 3.
Ooh, my spider sense is tingling.
This version of Venom, much like the ones before him, felt rushed. He had no screen time. This Venom is Eddie Brock, but it just doesn't feel like Eddie Brock. Topher Grace is much too small and weak, in my opinion, to portray a hulking badass that is Eddie Brock. He's also not that goofy. He does have the hatred for Spider-Man at least down. That's pretty cool. For me, it's just hard to view this Venom in a decent way when he just looks so small, tiny, and shrill. I understand the director wanted to go for a dark mirror for Spider-Man, but just because you explain your reasoning to me doesn't mean I have to like it if it differs from what the source material is. Like, I get why you would do that then. You want to show your own imagery, but I want to see Eddie Brock like he is in the comics. I don't want to see a foil to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I want to see a freaking big dude. If Dolph Lundgren had ever gotten the chance to play Venom in live action, I would have died a happy person. But this is what we got saddled up with, people. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 is heavily based on the Civil War storyline, which means no Eddie Brock, which means it's ass. It's Mac Gargan, member of the Thunderbolts. Many people consider Mac one of the worst Venom symbiote wearers of all time. I would be included in one of those many people. To me, it makes it even worse that Venom shows up like 60% of the way into the game, so like he's hardly in it. I feel like a lot of the Venoms we've talked about so far are hardly in the adaptations they're from. It's crazy at this point, right? It's weird. I've also always hated Mac Gargan's Venom design. Next, Spider-Man 2017 Venom arc just feels like Venom for babies. Venom's motive is super weak, which Venom's motives are traditionally super weak, but I mean this guy's just straight up a jealous dork hater for no reason, just showing up in Peter Parker's bedroom. I did not like this Venom at all. Like I said, it's like Venom for babies. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1. This Venom is Eddie Brock, which is dope. We finally got Eddie Brock in the suit in a great game. I wonder how he's going to play in this game. I hope he gets a lot of character dialogue. No, he doesn't actually. He gets none of that. He plays kind of fun in this game, but because he's an Xbox 360 exclusive, Marvel didn't want to make him a big part of the story because PlayStation users wouldn't be able to play him. It actually wouldn't make sense. So that's a major letdown. It's kind of just there. Luckily, I had it for Xbox as a kid, so I at least got to play as him. Marvel Rise of the Imperfects. This game's Venom design is better, but it's still kind of Probably because the game itself just looks like It's so dark and dirty and gross looking. Venom in this one is more evil, but he does really also still only have that hatred for Spider-Man thing going on, which is, good. He doesn't have too much characterization other than losing to Spider-Man in the story. That's new. I do like his intro a lot, and his voice actor killed his thing.
You don't have a chance.
Lego Marvel. This Venom is evil. I really love him and his design, but he's just straight up evil. The black looks great on him, and it's a great change of pace from the drowned out blue we just had. But he's one note. He doesn't even get a redemption arc. You get to play as him yourself if you want to, so I guess you can count that as your own redemption arc, but I'm not going to give him points for that. Spider-Man friend or foe?
Come on, who's your daddy?
You are.
This game's Venom is odd. He's like the design of Topher Grace Venom, but you don't actually have to see Eddie, and based on the camera angle, it doesn't look like Venom's shrill and small either, so he gets points. Camera work helps. He's fun to play as, and Spider-Man thinks he's going to try and kill him, but it turns out he was being mind-controlled. And when you save him, he wants to go for revenge against the person who was mind-controlling him, so he joins you. Solid Venom, honestly. It's like I didn't see this coming. Venom movie.
Mask! Copy!
All right, have it your own way.
Mask!
Copy.
This Venom is super interesting to me. He misses out on the entire backstory, so alone you have a massive red flag. But when you really dive into the character more and more, the story progresses, and it's like, this is all kind of the right stuff. The symbiote never wanted to cause an invasion, so that's obviously wrong, but it did have that change of heart later. They're all goofy as hell. Still super badass, unrealistically badass. They really capture the fun side of Venom that I feel almost no other mediums capture. I feel like a lot of casual fans don't understand this is a big part of Venom. He's fun. I will reiterate though, no backstory with Spider-Man is bad, and I wish they had actually just given some BS story about how Spider-Man wore it and took it off, even if they don't even show it, That's my opinion. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I split up Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2 from Infinite, seeing as it's like a totally different character. Much like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Venom's voice actor aside, this Venom is solid through and through. First off, his gameplay goes crazy. Crazy. He's got awesome moves that are callbacks to the original Marvel vs. Capcom game. His voice lines, even though the voice actor isn't the greatest, are still fun Venom lines, you know, they're not really super serious, and I like that. You also find out through his voice lines that he is a good guy, and he wants to even be an Avenger, so definitely got points for that. I really think this is a great take on Venom. I just don't like the voice actor. Everything else is kind of peak, though.
Devour everything! Deathbite!
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is easily the best Ultimate Alliance appearance for the character. Venom is Eddie Brock in this story. He starts off evil, you beat him, Spider-Man says that they have history together and he vouches for Venom. Venom's like, you would vouch for me? I'll work with you then, we could be homies. Wow, that's the whole arc. Summed up in like 10 seconds. Why don't more stories just do this? Everyone seems to think you have to have this big, huge setup and build up into creating Venom, when it's just not true. Yeah, if you want to have Venom start off evil and turn into a good guy, you can do it quickly. It doesn't take that long. In the comics, he turns into Venom like instantly and he just starts being Venom right away. In the games, for some reason, people like to think you need multiple games to set it up. Whack. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 should be the standard. It should be done like this all the time if you want to include an evil Venom. Spectacular Spider-Man is next up on this list, and this Venom is just so neat. I love how we got to learn and grow with this character through the show. We see how he gets burned by Spider-Man, how he slowly progresses downward into a spiral. Then you get to see the full-fledged Venom, which leads to some of the best fight scenes in the entire show. I have to detract some points because I think this design is a little butt cheeks, I'm gonna be real, but everything else is great. Before you say anything about how this character was only evil, they had plans to do a redemption arc, but the show was canceled. Get your hands off the comment section, eyes back on the video, come on now, you'll get your chance later. No spectacular slander on this channel. Ultimate Spider-Man game. This is probably the first great Venom to appear on the list. The Venom gets a lot more of a pass about being evil with no redemption due to his comics being completely different from the original comics. And he also predates his actual comic counterpart. The Ultimate Spider-Man game Venom came out before Venom appeared in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. That's actually so cool to me. I think that's awesome. The game essentially laid the blueprint down for what Venom should be like in the Ultimate Universe. Like, everybody loved this Venom. And then the comics still screwed it up. But the Ultimate game is just vile. In one of his first missions, you're like eating a child. He's a literal monster. This Venom's also purple, which is like the first time we get to see him purple. And wow, does it pop. Again, this is the first great Venom in my opinion. Next up, though, we got Maximum Carnage / Separation Anxiety. This is one of those classic Sega Genesis beat-em-up side-scroller games from the 90s. I know what you're thinking right now. How could a 90s 16-bit game be a top 5 Venom adaptation? Well, easily. Because it's dastardly accurate. Like, they will show you scans from the comic on the screen. Maximum Carnage is a single-player game that let you pick between Venom and Spider-Man, and Separation Anxiety is a sequel that's co-op with the two. In Maximum Carnage, you call out assists for popular characters who appeared in the comics, like Captain America, which is super dope. Like I said, this is so accurate to the comics. You're literally calling in superheroes that help Spider-Man and Venom in the comic. You're calling them in to help you in the video game. Dope. And then when you go to Separation Anxiety, how do you beat couch player co-op with Venom and Spider-Man? You and your brother just playing as Venom and Spider-Man? They ain't no beating that. Come on now. In my opinion, this is easily a top 5 Venom adaptation without a doubt. Next up, we got Midnight Suns. If you play this game, you probably, like me, were very, very worried that Venom would just be a monster. And at first, he was. We lost. Big time. But then the DLC rolled out. Holy moly, does the DLC bat it out of the park. You have peak Eddie Brock with peak Eddie Brock character design and Venom design. Voice acting is great as well. Extended voice acting too, not just like one quick shout out or line. Like, you get like a whole slew of dialogue with this man.
Blood! It's kidding, little joke. No, I come in peace.
For once.
Really? New kids gotta get in on this too? Hey, by the way, you're killing it out there. Respect.
Thank you. Not my first vampire war.
Eddie, are you yourself again?
Well, you mean, are we ourselves?
I can't tell you how let down I was by Midnight Suns at first, just for them to slap me in the face, saying this is what you wanted all along, right? Them boys slapped me in my face, and I wanted to apologize to them because this Venom is that good. Before we do the top 3, let's talk about some random Venom appearances that weren't really notable enough for me to like make a whole ranking for them or on this adaptation list. Just I didn't see the point for a lot of these. You got Phineas and Ferb. Venom appears in the Marvel crossover there, and Danny Trejo actually voices him. It's super dope, but he actually has like no voice lines. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, they got the Venom symbiote potentially setting up something in the background, but it's just chilling in the background. Tom Hardy's Venom visits the MCU and leaves behind some goop over there, so you know MCU is going to be getting some Venom too. The Spider-Man 3 game version of Venom is something. He dies in this really odd way, just gets impaled. And then lastly, we got Fortnite Venom. What a skin this is. It's probably like my most used skin in Fortnite. This or Miles or Peter, but I love the roar. That emote is so sick. Banger skin all around. They even have Tom Hardy's version of Venom too. Actually insane. Anyways, back to the top 3. 90s animated. I may have been a bit sleep in my best versions of each character video because 90s definitely deserved a mention. This character is great. You get to see him become a Spider-Man hater and Peter Parker hater in real time, and as the story continues, you're like, I mean, Spider-Man's kind of an a-hole to him, so it kind of makes sense. Then you get to see Venom suit up and fight Spider-Man, and he torments Spider-Man. Then Carnage comes along, and Venom goes full circle into a good guy, saves everybody by killing Carnage. It's a very good arc for the character. It's a very accurate arc for the character. It's sad he never comes back after this due to the show being canceled, but this was definitely a top 3 Venom adaptation. Number 2 on this list, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2. I'm going to put them 2 together because it's like the same Venom, but the voice lines, godlike. The gameplay, godlike. He's hella fun. He's hella iconic. He's the only villain in the entire Marvel cast. And I'm going to put quotes on the villain because he's such an anti-hero good guy too. He's also the only Spider-Man adjacent character to ever show up in a Marvel vs. Capcom game. Ever. Nobody else has. Not even Miles or Green Goblin or Doc Ock. It's just Venom. The suit, like I said, it's super awesome. I love his suit so much, but I also want to talk about the fact that in the original Marvel vs. Capcom, there is a secret code to let you play as the Red Venom, which is an homage to Carnage. Red Venom was also disturbingly broken and strong, like Carnage. Venom Fang probably is like the most iconic move. Everyone remembers this thing from their childhood. I also loved Venom Throw as well. This thing is like Spider-Man's web throw, but like for a brute. It's all peak Venom, guys. This is peak Venom. And the number 1, we've been over this before, but I guess I could break it down again real quick for you. Number 1 Venom is Neversoft's Venom. Who do you know that's this goofy and corny that's still scary as hell, people?
Where'd Spider-Wuss go? Spider-Wuss! Come out and play!
The character just is excellent all around. The polygon models aren't even enough to stop it. That's how cool this Venom is. I even enjoy the polygon models on Venom. If you've picked up any Venom comic in your life and then played this game, you'd be like, wow, he just jumped off the page into this game, huh? That's crazy. It's literally perfect. I love Venom so much. Naturally, I loved making this video. This is a character I have such an affinity for. It just came naturally to me and came easy to me. But is there a character that you would like me to make in every adaptation's ranking list of? Let me know in the comments down below. Till then, dunk out. Peace.